Hello and welcome to Thought for the Week. Some words from John's Gospel. The Good Shepherd goes ahead of the sheep, and they follow him because they know his voice. Some 30 years ago, we were in a rural part of West Lancashire, and Deb got for me this shepherd's crook. We got it at an auction, actually a charity auction, with a collie, shepherd's collie, and a ram having a bit of a face-off. Now, this proved very interesting because the next parish we were in was just on the edge of Burnley, and one day we were out walking with our black Labrador Seamus down some stone steps towards a Pennine stream. He was off the lead because we weren't in any fields with livestock, and a ram appeared ahead of us. The ram, seeing us and Seamus, turned and fled, and Seamus bolted after him before we could hold him. So I called out with my best Barbara Woodhouse voice, "Seamus, stay! Seamus, come!" But no effect whatsoever. But I needn't have worried, because a few seconds later, Seamus came hurtling back past both of us, and the ram following in hot pursuit. So that just goes to show he knew my voice, but he certainly didn't obey it. Jesus' voice has a compelling authority in John's Gospel. John the Baptist rejoices to hear his voice, the bridegroom's voice, he says, cherishing it. Or a little later in the Gospel, Jesus is at the grave side of his friend Lazarus, and he's weeping. And then he asks the people present to remove the stone, and he calls out in a loud voice, "Lazarus, come forth." And out comes Lazarus, and he then says to the bystanders, Jesus, "Unbind him and let him go." Or there's the lovely gentleness and intimacy of Jesus' voice on the morning of the resurrection when Mary, in John's Gospel, is stood outside the tomb weeping. She doesn't know where the body of her Lord has been taken. And supposing Jesus to be the gardener, she says, "If you know where he is, tell me where and I'll go and get him." And she turns back so Jesus is behind her. And he says to her, "Mary." And she recognizes the tenderness and the loving power of the voice of Jesus in that moment. Now, we can't actually hear the voice of Jesus today, but we can focus on Scripture and, in a sense, hear him, and his presence can become more real for us in our hearts and lives if, by his grace, we can attend to his voice and who he is and what he does. And it's encouraging that Christians around the world are doing exactly that. Somebody went to Ukraine not so long ago and came back and wrote an article in a magazine which I read about the witness of Christians in that part of the world. And he cited as an example a church in Kherson where a missile had just missed the church building and caused quite a lot of destruction beyond it. And eventually the worshippers apparently salvaged some parts of the missile and turned that into a lamp, an impromptu lamp, in which burned a light, and they placed it in front of the cross. It was a wonderful, not so much a gesture, but a profound turning of the violence of the world on its head, because violence will not have the last word if the voice and presence of Jesus are in us and with us. So we can't hear his voice, but we can attend to him and pray for the grace to listen up for him, not only in Scripture, but also in the words that others say to us in our community, brothers and sisters in faith, or indeed anyone in our community can convey something of the beauty of Jesus. Thy voice has still its ancient power, no word from thee can fruitless fall. here in this solemn week of ours, and in your mercy, heal us all. Thank you.